Hello, 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 and welcome to Fortress of Comics News. As you guys know, each and every week I am here bringing you comic news. We are at 500 episodes, so I figured I would bring on some special guests. They have never been on the show before, so this is really, really a big deal, and I'm super excited to have them here to talk about comics because they are well-versed in it. They've created tons of things, from what I understand. Can I introduce Chris and Mike, former host of Fortress of Comics News?
Former hosts.
And just like that, the show has been canceled.
Yeah, and now we've been canceled. We've handed it over to a madman. The transition has begun. It's all downhill from here. This is where the swamp has been drained, and we're left with Travis.
This has been Gibb's master plan all along. Start creating comics, come onto the show, and then eventually take it over.
Right.
He's been on the show enough that it's just we'll just hand it over to him.
There was
no licensing.
Yeah, you guys keep talking about DC. It stresses me out. So eventually I had to take over to get it, and with, Rom coming back and Micronaut's like, if we don't cancel it now, it's just going to get worse.
Hey, Chris got a taste of Rom,
right,
but now he got one Rom book and now it's gone.
Yeah, I bought that mystery pack and I got Mask, which was very disappointing because that was the one I didn't want to read.
You didn't.
I did the math, and so I just went on and I found somebody was selling their copy for like $25. I did the math, and if I had to keep buying mystery boxes to get it,
how many comics?
Way more.
How many different comics were in the box?
It was just different variants of Mask. And then Rom was like a 1 in 10 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, there was Rom and issue 2 of Mask. So you'd get a special.
It's the same thing Kirkman did with Battle Beast #1.
Oh yeah. Right. You could get Battle Beast, and I just happened to pull the one book I needed for Invincible was the Marvel.
The
crossover, team up, the Marvel team up with Spider-Man and Invincible, which is something I didn't have for my Invincible collection.
I had sold mine, which really upset me because I wanted to read it a few years ago. I was like, oh, let me grab my Marvel team up. Oh, shit. Someone bought my Invincible that I thought I could easily replace that I cannot.
Now it's skyrocketed in price. Yeah, good luck, dude.
Well, then I bought those nice hardcover compendiums that they did years back.
Yeah.
So I had all of Invincible in those compendiums. And then Kirkman's like, I'm going to re-release them, and I'm going to add the Marvel team up in the compendium now. I'm just like, you son of a bitch.
Gotcha.
This is not what we're talking about today, but the coolest thing is when it just re-released out a regular release, and we had Todd McFarlane who said, I'll never do a Marvel cover again.
Yeah.
And he still correctly never did a Marvel cover, but did a Marvel cover. That warmed my heart.
Yeah, he tried. He did his best.
Yeah, he kept his word because it's an Image book, but it's a Marvel book. All right,
somehow that happens.
And you know what? Imagine having Kirkman FU money. To be
right?
I'm just gonna print a Marvel book over here. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I was reminded because I was at Nickel City Comic Con a few weeks back, and Chris Burnham was there. And he had the trades for Die, Die, Die.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you remember how he released that? Just sent it out, didn't even announce it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. Yeah, he just sent it it just showed up at the comic shops, right?
Yeah. They got the first issue for free.
Yeah. He's just like, here you go. And
God, I wanted that book to be good. It was not.
Yeah.
I got about 3 issues in, and I was like,
He really wants to do crime noir stuff, and he's just bad at it. Every time he's tried it, he just is not good at it.
Yeah, you just can't. Yeah, he's not Brubaker, right? So
he can do his best. Only Brubaker's good at it.
There's only
maybe Chris Condor will give him.
He's doing a good job at it.
Yeah,
and then that book Chip did, the Newberry, was pretty good.
Yeah, but that's old school, Dick Tracy noir, not crime, modern crime, like a Ed Brubaker or Chris Condor.
It was like a mob book that kind of veered into the present. The mob's kind of on its way out, or this guy is on his way out. What happens when that? But it was a cool book, yeah.
But enough about this. As you guys know, we don't talk about comics on this show. Everyone knows
screw
for the
that.
hosts
Yeah.
every week. That's not what this is about. This is about talking to our guests
Supergirl.
and figuring out what's going on. We're not talking about Supergirl.
We're not talking about Supergirl.
I haven't seen it yet.
Me either. Well, Chris gave me an update, and I said I could probably wait to see it now. So
I just heard we're mad at James Gunn. I don't know what happened. Like, is he canceled again? Did he? Did his old tweets come up?
No, the tweets are fine.
It's okay. It's just you already saw the masterpiece of the DC universe, and that's Superman. Like,
yeah. It won't get better. You know, we've peaked. All right, we'll stop interrupting, Travis. Sorry.
No, you're good.
We're terrible guests. We don't know how to be guests.
You're horrible guests. You're horrible guests. What Kickstarter do you guys got going that I can promote real quick?
It's my new trade paperback, Voodoo Nations. So
Okay,
back it now on Kickstarter.
I have a GoFundMe for my student loans, if anybody wants.
So we have just got to 500 episodes of Fortress of Call. I believe that I am the most person who's been a guest, correct? And I'm not the one who stays the longest. I don't leave when everybody else leaves. I take the second part.
Right.
You at least have the most minutes, if nothing
else.
else.
Most minutes. Even if we want you to leave, you don't. So I don't. There's not much we can do about that. You're
Chris
the only
and I
one that's...
have talked an hour after before, where he's just like, I want to talk, but I got to pee. And he'll run.
There was a time with Derek Robinson took like 4 hours of our time.
Yeah, you can't tell Derek to shut up. Like,
no,
the man's a legend.
Yeah. Derek talked to us for about 3 hours, and we only recorded about 1 hour of it. And then he had to leave because his wife was yelling downstairs at him, like, "Hey, where have you been?" He's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go, guys." My wife's.
He did that too on a one-on-one with me and him, and we did an hour and a half, and then we stuck around for another 2 hours where he just showed me his Daredevil collection.
Yeah, he started pulling out comics, right? Isn't that crazy?
He just started pulling out comics and statues and everything. I'm just like, listen, I'm gonna sit here and listen to Derek Robertson just talk about Daredevil for the rest of the night. That's fine.
Yeah, I met him at what was it, Baltimore, and just trying to talk to him. I'm like, hey, tell me about Shade, or tell me about the. He's like, no, let's talk about what's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, and then if you talk to him about Star Wars too, that was the one thing. I think we talked to him about Star Wars for like 3 hours.
Yeah, he's a huge Star Wars fan.
He's a huge Star Wars fan, which was like, all right, now we got to talk about the thing he wanted to promote. But
so let's talk about that. So over the years, how many years have we been doing this?
This is year 11.
Year 11.
Year 11.
I just went back at YouTube because you can go back on our old YouTube. One of our highest viewed videos was our Rick and Morty commentary that we did. This is back when we didn't know what the fuck to do with the podcast. We're like, Chris and I were like, let's get drunk and do Rick and Morty commentary on episode 1.
It was after Connecticut Comic-Con.
Yep.
We had just found out that who was it that passed away?
Adam West died.
Adam West passed away.
Yeah, it got fucking hammered.
We just got hammered drunk and recorded commentary of us watching Rick and Morty.
And I said, maybe people will be interested in this. And this was after, because we only have up to episode 12 on, this is the oldest one we have on YouTube from 9 years ago. But that commentary had like the most views, and we almost were like, maybe we should just do this. But then we started bringing in interviews. So it's been 11 years. It started off as, it wasn't always called Fortress of Comic News, which is a terrible name, by the way. We've agreed that. We agreed that we could have picked a way better name that rolled off the tongue, but we weren't marketing savants, so.
No.
And like, even now, when you said you found do you want to talk about, your new interview format coming up, or?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay,
Let's talk about.
But when I found the name for that, I realized that there was a lot of easier names that were still available.
Yeah, there was like, what the fuck were we thinking?
So we've been doing this for 11 years. And this is the 500th episode.
Yeah.
As you know, I've been here all 500.
Yes.
So I would know.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
You've been.
Travis is a secret producer.
I was
of the show.
also drinking. I was just off camera with the Rick and Morty episode.
Okay. Yes, he was here the whole time.
I was here.
Funny enough, I believe our first interview was a different Travis.
Fuck that
I believe
guy.
that was Travis Holyfield, who
Yeah,
I don't
it was.
think he's doing anything anymore.
No, he's not doing comics anymore. He got out of it.
Is that related to Chris Holyfield? He's the midget wrestler who used to does his boogeyman for WWE.
Yeah, it's his brother.
I believe they want to be called little people now, Travis. Come on.
Yeah,
I
come on, dude.
apologize.
I think our first interview with Travis Gibb is 5 years ago.
Yeah, I stumbled. That's back when I was just like on Kickstarter, just emailing everybody I could find. And I found it's 4 broke down in 4 dead bodies.
Yeah,
Right.
You were discussing the final issue in that episode, so that was 5 years ago.
Wow. So over the last 11 years, give me, you guys, and I want to hear from both individually, who is your top 3 guests? And I want to hear individually. We'll start with Mike.
Oh man, okay, top 3
your top
guests.
3. Who do you like the most? And why is it me?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you know, you're like part of the show, right? I mean, you've co-hosted when I'm not around, so to me, you're like, without Travis, there wouldn't have been a show. Just from and for what you do for the quick shout out to Travis for what he does for indie comics in general and other creators. Okay, like this wouldn't work without him connecting us with other people. So it really felt necessary to have him here as part of the celebration. Anyways, my top 3. Man, I really Venditti was fun. So we did Venditti. We interviewed Venditti. His was fun because he didn't even know how he got the interview with us. He was like, "Did you go through somebody at DC?" And we're like, "No, we just emailed you, dude." And he was like, and the realization on him of like, "Oh fuck!" Like I'm like in the middle of this interview and it's not sanctioned by the management. That and then we had to troubleshoot his computer for him for about 30 minutes. That was just a funny one. Jeff Lemire was a lot of fun. And this was before Sweet Tooth was becoming a Netflix show. I think just before the Sweet Tooth. And then I don't think we'll ever get to talk to Jeff ever again after that. It's just how much he's got going on. And then when we got to talk about Codpiece, right?
Oh my god, it's terrible. I forgot her name.
I know. Me too. But that was like a surreal moment for me.
Your last favorite is the person who created Codpiece? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So it was a Rachel Pollack.
Rachel Pollack. Yeah. Thanks.
So when the show first started, we didn't do interviews. It was just Mike and I talking. There wasn't really a format. We were trying to figure it out on the fly. Right. And one of the things I believe Mike came up with was the shitty villain of the week. And
so many shitty villains that people don't know about that have happened through the years.
And we discovered all these amazing.
Man and Big Wheel. There's others.
Oh yeah.
We discovered these amazing villains.
Hemo Goblin was the one who was infecting. Was it specifically black people with AIDS? Was like his evil power? Yeah, terrible.
But only black people.
Only black people. Yeah,
black people. It wouldn't work on white people.
I think
probably would.
I think he was a white supremacist vampire, which
a lot of them ended up being white supremacists.
Yeah, there was a trend for a while there on I think it was the 70s. Yeah,
but we discovered Codpiece, and I don't remember which one of it because we would take turns bringing a villain to the show.
Who could find a shittier one?
And it's Codpiece. I think we ended it with Codpiece because it was just like we can't beat this.
Yeah, we couldn't we can go further.
And it for years. It became a joke to where I think I have 7 or 8 copies of Doom Patrol 70, which is the appearance of Codpiece.
Which is crazy that nobody should know that off the top of their heads that Doom Patrol 70 is the first appearance. If you ask me, what's Aqualad's first appearance? Don't give a shit. But Doom Patrol 70 is Codpiece.
So yeah, it became a joke because people would give it to me. I had a copy. I actually had a copy before because I bought this huge collection of the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol, and it just happened to have Beyond his run as well.
Yep.
And then people were giving it to me because they would find it and joke around. And we almost made a T-shirt, but then I was afraid DC was going to sue the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And Rachel Pollack was the co-creator, the writer of that issue, and we found out later on she did a book with Ahoy. And so Ahoy, we got friendly with Ahoy Comics, still are fairly friendly with them, and. When it came up, I sent to the PR person, hey, we're huge. We love Rachel Pollack. It's kind of a joke in the show, but it's also out of love with Codpiece and everything. and she agreed to come on. She wanted to talk about it, and she was like amazed that anybody even knew who this character still was,
who Codpiece was.
And we got to talk to her and everything, and I believe within the next year she had passed away too.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like a full circle moment for the show to get that interview, and especially right before her untimely passing.
We didn't know that at the time she had cancer. We had no idea. And it ended up being this amazing interview of like Codpiece wasn't just like a dude with like a utility knife, cock. He was he was like this. He wasn't
just that.
He wasn't just that. Like Rachel explained it to me, like he became this villain because like he was like this he was like, I don't know, this girl didn't want to go out with him, so he became like this ultra masculine, like toxic masculinity embodiment, and it was like, wow, this is a great interview. And then come to find out, like something we didn't know about Rachel was she created the first trans character in comics. Was like something I had no idea.
It's very woke stuff that you obviously don't want, Travis. I mean, I know you're against all this, but
yes,
I absolutely hate it. So I'm thank you for
this is
why the show has to go.
No.
Go woke, go broke, and that's where we're at.
Shit, this is shit you could say in episode 5. No, in all honesty, like something Chris and I had never really paid attention to, but like that was something amazing to talk to her about. And then hearing from everybody, like even at Ahoy, we talked to Tom Pear after her passing, and talk about how like such a great person she was to work with, and so I think that was like a high moment for us to be like, wow, this is crazy. This is a character we've been talking about for like 10 years, and now here we are. But there you go. What's your top 3, Chris?
So no joke, Travis is on there because I hope Travis feels the same, but we become friends over the interviews and getting to talk to each other. He's let me write a story in one of his books.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
And as much as like I work hard and get a bunch of interviews, there's a decent amount of those interviews over the years where it's Travis just like sending me a text message, be like, you need to talk to this person, here's his email.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't happen without Travis. Yeah.
And then we talked about Derek, but like I'll take to the grave talking about Derek Robertson's Daredevil collection. That's not Derek on camera. Yeah. Nobody else has that but me, but like that's just a moment I will take to the grave, man. That man's a legend. And I still owe him. It's funny because when I first emailed him, he talked to me and he's just like, nobody invites me on these things. Like nobody wants to. That's why he was so gung ho to come on.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to talk about stuff. And it was right when the show was like about to start and picking up. So he was busy, but he was also kind of in that lull where The Boys was about to start. He's able to talk about things and all that. So absolutely love that one. And then I got to give it up to the Hive Mind. I know it's a twofer on this one.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly are two of the funnest people to talk to
in
comics.
They're very fun. Yeah.
They're super intelligent. They know story. They just are great guys to chat with and hang out with for an afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time they were all apologetic to me, and I think it was Jackson because they had to reschedule on me. And I come to find out, like, he's apologizing to me, like, I'm really sorry we had to reschedule and everything. My house burned down, and I'm in kind of a Airbnb right now.
Yeah, it was like...
It's like, dude...
It was like during the California wildfires, right? It was like...
if I would have known that your house burned down, we could have postponed like a month.
We could give you a little more time.
But yeah, those guys are awesome. And...
So this is super interesting to me, and I'm going to be honest. When I've talked to you guys in the past, Colin Bunn always comes up, and you guys didn't bring up Colin Bunn in your top 3 here.
Yeah,
what is going on here? Was he 4? Was
Colin was next? I was just, I'm looking back at like what we've done. Colin was a good one because like, I mean, he's the second highest, I think, in person to be interviewed on the show besides you.
He became a yearly interview. Like once a year, I emailed him like, "You want to catch up?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah, I'll say when we first interviewed Colin, it was like, "Holy shit!" Like we're talking to Colin Bunn, but then it was almost like he became a regular that like wanted to hang out and chat with us, which was like really cool. So it's almost like with you, Travis. I don't consider him like a
A
like
guest.
someone that we just get a random interview with.
Didn't you
that'll
do a Pumpkinhead retrospect, if I'm not mistaken?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
He's a big horror guy. Yeah. 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 And Pumpkinhead is one of his. It's right up his alley with body horror.
The best Colin Bunn moment for me, and I think it's buried at this point because I don't think it's on Spotify, but it's got to be on YouTube. Was I brought up his Aquaman run?
Oh yeah.
And that dude, you could tell he had trauma from internet trolls.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he got visibly mad at me. Like he's just like, why does everybody want to bring that up? Like he was mad about it. And I thought after that, I'm like, well, Colin's never coming back. Like that's it.
Yeah, I fucked that up. Yeah,
yeah, I fucked it royally. And then the next year when I emailed him again, he's like, yeah, sure, and came on and we had a good time. Like
And you just didn't bring it up. No, Colin's a great guy. I was just at Heroes, and he came to my table to thank me for being in Cthulhu Invades Neverland. And
wow,
like that was the most confusing thing in the world. I'm like, Colin, I don't think you understand how the hierarchy works here, Colin.
The dude that's in like 30 books a year. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if he's announced this publicly, but he's exclusive.
Oh.
With what is the name of that company? With Murder Pass. It starts with an I.
Oh, Ignition
Comics.
He's exclusive with Ignition, which is
so.
Wow, that's
last
crazy.
time we talked to him, he was doing a book, I believe, at Dark Horse. It was the Diablo book. That might be Titan, actually.
Yeah, I think he has to finish some stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but
some of the video games.
And then he had something else. But both those books, the way he described it, they were done a while ago, and they're just coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the Diablo one he did a couple of years ago, he said, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything he had moving forward was Ignition. So I got the feeling that if he didn't have an exclusive contract, he definitely just liked working with those guys.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the moment when he did Godzilla versus Power Rangers, that was always a fun time talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, do you know why Godzilla's so mad? Like he's just beefing with everybody. Like he's the king of beefs. Like,
I mean, if your legs are that small and you're that big and rotund, I think you'd be a little upset.
He's just mad, bro, all the time.
He's just mad.
Travis, I believe that lore is explained in Godzilla versus Charles Barkley.
Yeah, that's where it all begins, really.
All right, I'll have to pick that one up. I missed that one in my Godzilla.
he doesn't want any more war, right? So he's pissed because they're testing nukes out in the ocean and thinking that nothing's going to be harmed. Well, Godzilla fucking lives there, dude. So you can't just be dropping nukes on this dude's house and think there's no consequences. That's why I'd be pissed.
I'd be a little.
But how come none of the other Godzilla people are just always Godzilla? Like
it's
no,
always no.
Dan's not mad. Like none of the other guys. But
he'll fuck him up. Like he'll wake up and be like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I gotta kill you now because you woke up, so you're dead."
It's funny you say that, Travis, too, because I just I did my order last week for what previews is nowadays.
Right.
But Godzilla versus Sonic the Hedgehog was on the list. So,
dude, Godzilla sells comics, dude.
It's wild. Godzilla he's just mad. He's just the king of beefs.
I mean that's we have seen it's crazy how we've seen the evolution of just from interviewing people and talking about the comics every week of we saw this Godzilla insurgence happening of books, right?
Right.
Where it started we got an ongoing. IDW is doing 2 ongoings. Oh, we got Godzilla Skate or Die. What's going on? And then you have you have this other ongoing book where it's more like an anime style, like manga, which is actually really good. And then now we have it versus DC versus Marvel. It's crazy how the hype train builds up and up. It's wild.
Well, and
I'm here for it though.
They grabbed the Supple Boys, they grabbed they're grabbing some of the younger talent that are coming up to grab them, So I think they got some moves there.
Yeah.
And it feels. I mean, IDW lost a lot of big IP, so I think that kind of forced them into a place where they had to do something with Godzilla, and thank God it did, because
and they must have less restrictions because you don't see them because turtles,
right?
You can mix turtles with anything and it'll sell, but there must be some issues with making that work,
Well, so
there was a Godzilla vs. Turtles book.
No, there was, but what I'm saying is Turtles seems to be a little bit harder because there's been Turtles.
Oh.
And then Turtles, Batman, Turtles,
Batman. That was it. Yeah.
Oh well,
and then Travis's favorite, which is Turtles, Naruto.
Oh yeah, Turtles, Naruto,
Ghostbusters, Batman.
I think Batman did the best though, because they did two. Yeah. I think they did three volumes of that one. Yeah. I do remember we had somebody, man, who was drawing the covers was doing the cover art for one of the Godzilla ongoings, and I remember he said that Toho has a lot of influence on, so he had to submit like his cover to Toho, and they came back, and because he was like, oh, I wanted to make it more like accurate to like what lizards are supposed to look like, and the anatomy was going to be awesome, not these little stubby legs, and they like wrote back to him like, no, you need to draw him like the rubber suit, like stubby legs. They're like, this is what the people want.
Yeah, this is
like,
Godzilla.
They like completely axed his cover, like you need to draw it like there's a dude wearing a suit. And that's how it was like.
America tried this in '99 and they rejected it.
Yeah. Ferris Bueller was here, and it did not work. So.
But it's funny because someone recently just drew a Cthulhu for me, and I liked it, but it's not the traditional Cthulhu form. But he used it off the original description, and I was fine with it. But then I sent it to the writer because we do the anthology style, and that writer was like, "That's not what Cthulhu looks like." He's gonna say, I was like, "All right, I gotta go back to the guy and tell him like that's not. Yeah, it's not gonna cut it."
I mean, that's a little different. Like Cthulhu is like like. It's this ambiguous form, right?
But he was never drawn back in the day.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Like it's
some guy drew it, and they were like, "That's the one."
That's the one I picked. I Google searched it, and this is the one I'm going to go with. But it is interesting. I mean, it's interesting. We talk about Cthulhu, dude. When I saw this Minions trailer come out, and they're like summoning elder gods, and there's like a fucking Cthulhu. I was like, is this in mainstream now? Is like Cthulhu just like an elder god's going to be like a mainstream thing? This is crazy. Like, because
it's been making its way there for a while.
Yeah, it's wild.
My kids wanted me to sue. I had to sit them down and explain them that I created nothing.
Get a lawyer.
Mike, did you see who's voicing Cthulhu in that too?
No, who is it?
It's Matt Stone from South Park.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. That's amazing.
You should watch it. He puts his hand here.
I did see him doing that, and I didn't realize it was Matt Stone. Yeah, that's amazing. That's so good.
There's an interview he did. I saw a clip from it, and he was basically like, I have kids now, and I want them to be able to watch something I make.
That makes sense. Although a lot of adults are going to go to that movie, too. I know a lot of adults that love Minions, so.
Yeah.
But didn't he do... Well, one of them was one of the villains in one of the Incredibles, weren't they? Matt Soda, Fred Clark. Yeah, they were one of the villains.
Oh. Interesting.
All right.
I mean, that's an amazing movie too, though. I mean, that's the Fantastic Four movie we all wanted, right? Was The Incredibles, until we got the latest Fantastic Four movie. But that's what we all used to call it. Chris is going to double check for us.
Chris is double checking. He's fact checking.
Yeah, I'm the researcher of this show.
We always needed the like this just in do noise. You know what I mean? Like the. But he's fair.
Right, so
well, according to our Lord and Savior. Google AI.
Yeah.
Neither were in The Incredibles. So,
see,
okay,
that's why we have a news show and you don't, Travis. I'm sorry.
But Trey Stone was a Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
What? That's so weird. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. Despicable Me. He was in Despicable Me 3.
Okay.
Oh, so he already has some Minion lore to him.
Right.
All right. Okay.
So maybe he was saying that's why he got involved with Despicable Me.
I jumped to the wrong villain franchise.
Okay. I've never watched this Despicable Me movie, but I kind of want to now.
You should watch them all. They're a lot of fun.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, they're just fun.
Because once I saw Cthulhu on the big screen, I was like, I do kind of want to watch that.
So when we went to see Supergirl, they did a trailer for the live action Moana, and Sam was very surprised to learn that I've seen and know the songs from Moana.
Well, the original's good. I don't know if the live action will be good. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, I got no interest, but
yeah,
I saw the cartoon.
Feel like
I'm
you
good.
gotta wait for live action. Like they didn't earn their stripes of being,
Yeah.
around long enough
No.
to get their live action cut yet.
Yeah, but they wanted The Rock in it.
Yeah, The Rock need.
Yeah.
And
have you seen The Rock recently? Like, he lost a lot of that muscle.
Yeah. He's.
Like, I think he was kind of done being that guy.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
They had one shot.
He's like, I cannot drink 14. I cannot eat steak every day and 14 burgers. It's done. We're done.
No, I'm like, the same thing that happened to Batista. His doctor was like, dude, you need to stop or your heart is gonna stop. You need to stop or your heart's just not gonna tick anymore.
You think Batista called him? Batista was like, yo, bro.
Dude, you got to try this slimming down thing. I feel so much better. I'm not sweating all the time. My body doesn't hurt. Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but he did the roast of Kevin Hart and came out at the end, and he just looks, not only looks bad, it doesn't look like The Rock anymore. He's not fucking jacked all shit.
And I mean, that's the thing that like people argue about. I'm not a huge, I used to watch WWE and stuff, but it's like, some of that's problematic for like the younger generation because they are on roids. Like other people, and it's like you're not naturally. I mean, he's a big guy, but you're not naturally, and that just shows it when he like can instantly. Same thing with Batista; they're just like instantly shrink down like that out of nowhere, and it's like because they have come down from a cycle or something like that. It's crazy.
So all right, so we talked about your favorite guests.
Who's your least favorite guest?
No, not your least. We're not going to go least favorite because
we've had some worse guests though. I don't even know their names. Sometimes you don't even see the interviews. The interviews don't make
what is a memorable bad experience from the show, and then we'll go good. So give me a bad experience. We'll start with Chris this time. Like, what is like? Oh my God, shit's going down.
Some of those don't make the
this guy said something.
Yeah, the public never sees those. I think.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll give you two. There's one that never made air, and it's when I for some reason couldn't say the word Nigeria. And I could see Mike's soul escaping his body as I'm trying to like say this word.
Did you say other words close to?
No,
Nigeria?
I didn't actually. I didn't. No, I did not say that. I did not say that. But I kept getting like halfway through the word before I'm like, why can't I say this word?
I was like shrinking down. I was like,
yeah, Mike's just like, oh my God. But yeah, just something I just couldn't get it out, and I just cut the whole segment. And
that one never made it.
And then my least favorite, I don't remember the guy's name, and I don't want to call anybody out because I'm sure he's a lovely person. But
he might not. He might not be.
He might not be. But I'll give. I like to believe people are good, Mike. He literally. I asked him to be on the show, and he gave me a litmus test. Of like, and we don't get political on the show. And when I say that, we don't talk about who we voted for. We don't talk about policy. We'll talk about important issues. But
right.
And this guy, like in the litmus test, was like, "Did you vote for Donald Trump?" And I'm like, "It doesn't matter."
Right.
I'm not talking about that. We're not doing that. And it was just at a time where this person felt that you couldn't exist in this industry if you were that kind of person. Okay. And to be fair to it all, like we are talking kind of the height of when Comicsgate was at its cringiest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And certain people had said certain things. So, like I said, I'll give them some air, but I'm not taking someone's test to prove to them I'm a good person.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I have a past and a history, and you can see who I am throughout my videos and my years.
And especially we don't do that to our people we bring on. I mean. We probably should have early on when we didn't know some of these people, but I feel like we have a good gauge for creators. I mean, we did have a good gauge the last 6 or 7 years, but
you guys avoided being canceled, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. I think we had a really bad one time. I think the guy was late, and from his answers, Chris, I don't know if you remember this. The guy was like, he seemed very problematic in some way, and I don't even know if we ever aired the interview. Do you remember who
I don't. Yeah.
He had. Anyways, I won't get into too many details, but whatever. He you could tell by the air he had about him and the things he was saying. It wasn't like he wasn't specifically making sexist comments or anything like that. But you could tell there was an air about it of
alluding to it.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have this guy back. and Chris loves to do this thing, and I love it too. I love it too, where if you got a cheesecake cover, he's gonna come out and straight up ask you, why do you do cheesecake covers? And some people are straight up like, we've got some really great answers from asking, because Chris and I don't buy cheesecake covers.
Right.
But I think that was one of the ones that the response was kind of like, oh, this is not good. This is not. And I can't. It was years ago. It was years ago.
I think one of the things if I had the time and like the money to do, I would love to create a program to help comic creators with interviews.
Yeah, okay. That's another thing, right?
Because I think what a lot of people lose, like you'll hear it in some of the interviews, and continue into my future, but people don't understand what a leading question is.
No,
like,
not at all. Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of people know. Like, I'm a blue collar guy. I work a blue collar job, but I went to school to be a journalist, and I have a degree in that field. I just never pursued it in the way, because around the time I got out of school, like, politics got out of control, and I didn't want to be a part of that world anymore.
Right.
But I have a history, and I know what I'm doing somewhat. Like, I do shoot from the hip, and I try to be casual, but leading questions are leading questions. Like, I'm trying to get you to answer a question. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't assume that the audience knows who you are or what you do.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, when you ask these kinds of questions, like, why do a cheesecake cover? Or a good, for instance, go back and listen to Jonathan Hedrick's interview from 2 or 3 episodes ago. Okay. I asked him his opinion on not safe for work content, because he's doing a not safe for work book. Right. He gives an amazing answer of like, this is why I believe this is a viable genre, and what I believe I can do in it, and this and that. Like, Hedrick's a guy who's done a few interviews and knows what a leading question is and what he's supposed to do in that. And I if I'm remembering the same guy, Mike, this guy had no clue. Like, he kind of went down this path of, why would you even ask that? Like, it's not worth talking about.
Like, he got defensive kind of thing. Yeah. Which is, And another point to that too is, like, people forget, like, comic creators, some of them aren't very personable or show social. I mean, you think about it, you're by yourself. It's a very solitary occupation. I mean, Travis, you could probably talk about that, right? I don't know how often you're writing alone, but or how late you go into the night.
You always write alone. I mean, you don't write alone. Like, it's
right. But like, and some of these people, they don't really interact with others, and I think that was apparent with some of these interviews where we don't hold it against them, and sometimes you just ask a question, you get like a 1-word answer, and you're like, we're not here to sell your book.
Right.
We're hoping you'll sell it for us. So there's a lot of that, and I'll never forget too. I was at New York Comic Con one year, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I don't think Gary Frank does a lot of interviews. At least I haven't seen a lot or heard a lot of Gary Frank interviews.
He doesn't know.
But I remember I was like going through Artist Alley in New York Comic Con one year, and Gary Frank was just sitting in the corner, drawing pages, because he was probably behind on pages like he always is. But he wasn't doing commissions. He was like, he must have been on a panel, but he was in the corner at an empty table just drawing. And I said, "Oh shit, that's Gary Frank. I'm gonna go say hi." And I walk up to him like, "Hey Gary Frank, love your work." And he kind of was like very socially awkward, and I was like, "Okay, makes sense." Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Like, this guy doesn't want to talk. He wants to be alone in the corner.
He doesn't want to be at a con, right?
Yeah, he doesn't want to be at the con, and he just wants to work on his pages. And that's like, and you can't hold it against him. The guy does amazing work, and I think maybe part of that amazing work is that he's just doesn't like to venture out and talk to people, so. But
I think I heard an interview, I don't remember the creator, but she was talking about how she wouldn't work with a certain publisher anymore. And that publisher doesn't do press for it. Like, they send out a press release and that's it. Okay. And she was upset about this and felt like they should do more and this and that. And I've been around. I've talked to a bunch of different publishers. I feel like I know how things work somewhat. Mm-hmm. Right. Nobody does press anymore.
Yeah.
They send out press releases, and you're expected to go out and do interviews. So, unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, part of being a creator these days is being able to get out there and sell your product. Like,
sell yourself.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself. Yeah.
So it's unfortunate because there's a lot, especially artists. I think artists tend to be more socially awkward and just insular. But it's unfortunate because they have so much to tell you and so much you can learn from them. Someone like Gary Frank has forgotten more about drawing than anyone we know has ever learned.
Yeah.
And
right.
It'll probably have a hard time getting that information out of them in an interview. But that's kind of my big thing moving forward is, just if creators could learn that, you have to sell you. Nobody's here to listen to me. They're here to listen to you. I'm just the vessel in which they get to listen to you.
So that's a good question. Has it been frustrating over the years, hearing some of this back news stuff, right? So you guys are people who love comics, and it's one of the things that I love about being on this show is there's even shows where they just decided to interview comic creators, but they don't really have a love for the passion for comics. They just decided to interview them for whatever reason. Or with other comic creators who don't love comics. They really want to make film. Like they really do, but they don't have the money. So they bullshit
get into it.
Right. And talk about they picked one or two famous comics, but they don't really know comics, right? They read, I read Bendis's run, but did you? Like, you read Avengers Disassemble. Like, you didn't read Jinx. You didn't read Goldfish. But then you get those types, and then you also get, we're going to use Action Labs just because they're out of business, because that's the best one. You're going to find out all this bad stuff about Action Labs, and you guys love Action Labs, right? Let's say you loved Action Labs and you think they're great.
I was a big Zombie Track fan. I mean,
right. So how do you margin that and handle that? And then the other thing is you get these people like this woman who you mentioned who just doesn't understand the business and thought the publisher was going to make them, right? Yeah. Like, I'm going to sign this publishing deal and then I'm going to be famous. Like, this is my rich and famous contract. So how do you navigate that? And feel about the industry as you get all this little back end information? Some of it's off air, some of it's on air, and trying to continue these relationships. And people hate each other, right? I remember one time Chris found out a creator did something bad to me and said, "Hey, this guy's on. I just wanted you to know, do you have a problem?" And I was like, dude, you were running a podcast. Who I have a feud with has nothing to do with you, but I know that that's not all comic creators. Some comic creators will not go on your show if you have a feud with somebody else, So how do you navigate that, being 500 episodes in? Like, how do you feel? Like, is that why you quit, Mag? Is that why we're done?
No, I mean, we could talk about the quitting of it in a little bit, but I think it is interesting. Chris has always loved the business side of it, and I think that comes from like his journalism background of like he likes to see behind the curtain. Me, if I see too far behind the curtain, I think it affects me emotionally and personally, and I'm one to like jump on the bandwagon. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck them, like they're right. So I will say that the part that does interest me the most, and I'm gonna give a example here. We had the creator of Bad Idea Comics.
Okay.
Dinesh
was on, and he's been on a couple times. Love Dinesh.
Yep.
He he's a CEO, and my experience with CEOs in the past, he's a very good CEO with his answers and his politics. I'll say politics, but not not in a political sense of like
a lowercase p politics.
Comic politics, not politics. Not politics.
And Chris and I come out of that like, wow, Bad Ideas. These books are amazing. Like, this is so cool. This is going to save a lot of comic shops. But then I was, and there is one thing I try to do, because I do travel quite a bit for my job, and so I always try to go to like a local shop.
Right.
I try to go in, chat with them, and we could talk about local comic shops, pet peeves, in a little bit. But there was a thing that I realized quickly with Bad Idea was like, not everybody was included.
Right.
It was hurting a lot of places because people would come in and look for these comics, they couldn't get a hold of them. They were forcing people to order a lot. Like, oh, if you weren't a bright and shiny comic shop, you probably weren't going to get these books.
Right.
So like to have the guy in the show, and we had him back, right? And we're going to promote Bad Idea because it is something that he's doing, and there's a lot of cool creators involved. But then on the same token, it's like I see these comic book shops, these managers at comic book shops being like, yeah, it's a pain in the ass for us. Like,
right.
it's added work, and we know comic shops are suffering with their tiny margins and stuff like that. So But I mean, we always play devil's advocate, right? We ask the questions. We don't we don't we would never accuse anybody of anything, but um, I would say, Chris is always the more interested of like, and we've had some really long conversations with people about, especially publishers, about like, hey, what, and we'll ask them straight up, we're not scared to be like, hey, why are you going to Kickstarter with this trade paperback?
Right.
If you're a publishing company. I don't know. I don't think we've ever been in a place where we gotten like pissed off answers about that. There's usually a pretty good answer from what we see, and I don't think we've really let the drama get in here in effect. Chris and I have always been about that. Like, we just love comics. We really want to fuel our knowledge, whether it's like how comics are made or like what creators are thinking. And I don't think we ever really wanted to be affected by that. We didn't have time for that. I don't know. That's my feel about it. I don't know about you, Chris, but
hold on. That was the most eloquent answer I've ever heard out of Mike. And I think we need to sit
really?
and acknowledge his thought out. Like, I feel like I did not give him pre-questions.
No,
I did not how he answered that so eloquently. That is beyond Mike's normal capacities. Continue.
Well, there was a time where we would be recording and I'd be like pretty stoned. So I will say, I haven't had a joint in about 3 months. So maybe I grew a couple brain cells over the last few months. So.
They're coming back.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to grow some back from those days. No, I think I learned pretty quick, and I like being in this place, and I hope to continue to be in this place.
Right.
That I think when I contacted you about that, it was more a personal thing. Like, I didn't want to piss you off as a friend. Yeah. But I think my place in I hate saying it this way, but my place in the industry is to be Switzerland.
Right.
Like, I want everybody, and I mean everybody, to be able to come on the show and have a conversation. Now, that conversation, there's a few, actually, one that actually involves you, Travis. When I talked to Tyler Carpenter for the first time, and I believe I talked to you, and you actually set it up, and that the whole premise of that conversation was like, are you Comicsgate, and do you agree with these people?
Right.
And it was a tough conversation, and it was a thoughtful and meaningful conversation. And Tyler and I became friendly after that, to the point where he's been on again since then. And I message him every so often. Like, he's a good guy. And I just want my place to be where anybody can come in and talk.
Right.
I mean, I've said personally that somebody like, oh my God, who's the...
Ethan Van Sciver?
Yeah, Sciver. So I would have Sciver on my show. It would not be the same conversation that me and Travis would have.
Right.
It would be a much different, much more thoughtful conversation. Not that your conversations aren't thoughtful, but much more thoughtful in a certain way. He'd be answering questions. I would let him know ahead of time. Like, there's questions I have that I think need to be answered that are going to be tough.
Like, when are you going to send out the $1 million worth of product you need to send out?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But would be more confrontational in nature.
Yeah.
And I would make sure that was known ahead of time. I don't believe in bringing them in, being like, and what are you going to answer to this? Like, that doesn't accomplish anything. That doesn't... But that's kind of always been my place. Now, someone like that isn't going to come on my show, so I'm not too worried about it. But the invite would always be there if you wanted to, and that's kind of how I stayed out of it. Like, I think everybody kind of saw the fact that I was kind of neutral to a lot of things, and I was happy to have conversations. And at the end of the day, I really wanted to have conversations about the work more than anything.
Right.
And when it came to comic creators, at least.
Right.
So nobody really gave me a hard time. And even the few hard conversations I had with people, I remember having one with a creator about representation of people of his minority.
Mm-hmm.
And after the conversation with him, I don't think he fully agreed with me, but he's been on the show a few times since then. I'm not going to call him out because that was a private conversation, but it just, I don't know. I think people understand that I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to grow, and I'm not trying to be a bad person. So my questions come from a place of ignorance that I'm trying to get rid of.
Yeah, we've always come in. We want to be educated on this podcast. We never came in, explaining things to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Oh my God, who did we have on that did the Black Widow comic, Chris? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Kelly Thompson.
Kelly Thompson. Kelly S. Thompson we had on. Love her work. And I remember I asked her a question. I was like, how do you? I'll never forget this because I was educated, and I wasn't defensive about it, and I said, yeah, oh yeah, that makes total sense. I asked her, I said, Kelly, you've done all these amazing, written all these amazing, female characters, these books, and I said, what's for you? How do you write a strong female character? And she said, well, I don't believe that there's anything as such as a strong female character. You just write a strong character.
Yeah.
And I said, damn, yeah, you're right. Like, that's just the question we hear out there that gets thrown at these types of creators. And I fell victim to that. But now I won't ever ask questions like that again. That was years ago. You know what I mean? So, and that educated me. And Chris and I have always done a good job being educated by these creators of like, yeah, maybe we could ask it a different way, or like, it's changed my opinion about something.
And that's an ethos I'd like to believe Mike's also taken into life, but I know I have that.
Yeah.
I'm never afraid to say I'm wrong.
Oh yeah,
to ask the question.
Right.
And I'm also never afraid to have a conversation. And I was actually talking to my better half just yesterday about this, where
Mike's
over
right
the past
here.
couple. What?
Yeah. He was texting me at midnight. Yeah. Hey, can we chat?
What was it, 2 or 3 years ago, I lost a ton of weight. I started taking care of myself, and I started doing something that I've always wanted to do, which was study Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Study the blade.
Yes. And through that, you meet a lot of different people, and you have to train with men and women. And me and this woman in the class were actually having a conversation about kind of like what both of us feel going into that situation of like, because you're going to get very close, you're going to get very intimate in jiu-jitsu. Like, there's no way around it. And what it means for a guy to come up in that moment, and what I'm feeling, saying like, I don't want to offend you, I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but like, we're going to be in uncomfortable situations, and back and forth. And it was,
I'm gonna grace a boob.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there's going to be something
happen.
very close to motorboating happening at some point. And
that means you're getting pinned though. So did you lose to her? Is that...
And she even said afterwards, like, she felt like there was things I told her that she didn't understand, that now she understands her husband better because of it. Like, it was a thoughtful conversation that we both had, that we both grew from. And that's something that just everybody out there, like, just be open to those conversations. They're fun, and they make you a better person.
And beyond the podcast, so here's the thing I think is a huge difference between us and other podcasts. And there's probably there's definitely other podcasts out there that have thousands and thousands of views and whatever, and more sponsorships. But Chris and I started it just so we could chat with each other, because I had moved away, 4 hours. We used to go to the comic shop once a week, and we used to talk about the books once a week. And I wasn't near the comic shop anymore. And honestly, if you don't talk about your comics once a week with people, it's like hard to catch up on every month. Like, oh yeah, I can't even remember what happened last issue if you're not like in that environment.
Right.
And so that's how it started. It was just us just like hanging out, chatting about stupid stuff. And sometimes we still do that. We never we'll talk about comics a little bit, but going into that and then bringing a third person in to be like, oh man, there's somebody here we could ask questions about the books. Like, wow, this is crazy. And I think that's kind of how it just became like a natural thing, and people loved coming on our show. Well, at least they told us that. I don't know. Travis had been back several times, but
I hate it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Good. Okay. Well, the truth comes out, but we weren't trying to get like followers. We weren't trying to like boost our numbers and do all this like hokey crap. And you have to be open. You have to listen as well as talk, right? A lot of podcasters just like to talk, but you have to listen to is a huge part of it, and learn from that.
No, that's really, really good. So let's go into the meat of why we're here. What's going on? Things are changing. I don't know if you guys have announced much on the show, but what's going on? What is this new transition? What's happening? We're at 500 episodes. What's going on?
So I'll kind of lead it up and let you answer, Mike, because I think it leads more into you. But back about a year ago, Mike and I had a conversation, and it was Mike's life and schedule was conflicting with the podcast. And we kind of both agreed that we felt like it was coming to an end, and we had a date where it was going to end. Like there was a clock on the relationship. I've been watching How I Met Your Mother recently, so you know the episode where and not our personal relationship, just the show's relationship.
Yeah.
And at
Can we talk about How I Met Your Mother? Because I'm not interested anymore. Like, where are you at? What episode?
One of my absolute favorite shows of all time. But
it's great.
It is great.
We had both kind of agreed at that point that 500 was a goal we wanted to achieve. And I think more when I think back on it, it's a goal that I wanted to achieve. But Mike can talk more about that. And we agreed then and there. Mike was going to kind of step back and do when he could. And it was going to turn into more of an interview show. And then at 500, we were going to make an announcement. And then Mike had made an announcement, I think 10 or so episodes ago, that he was ending with 500.
Right.
And then I kind of kick it over to him for his version of that.
Yeah, it's interesting when Chris and I have been talking once a week over video chat for 11 years now. So, I'm an anxious and stressed out person. I'm a high anxiety person, but I just remember the episode after we wrapped up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna I need to take a step back because there's a certain point where, like, for me, like you said, my job schedule, my travel schedule. Sundays are sometimes the only day that I have in between traveling and stuff where it's just too much for me right now. But I remember Chris saying, like, yeah, dude, I could tell you're like, he could tell just from like my demeanor, the way, the way we're going through interviews, he could be like, oh yeah, I could tell that you're not feeling it. Like, and then it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. Like, I'm like, why was I stressing about this when, we've been I've had this best friend for 11 years and we could feel each other's vibes kind of thing. Right. And so, yeah, we decided, he said, I would love to make it to 500. And I said, I'll definitely support him on that. I think that's a really cool milestone. 500 is a huge milestone. While he kept doing interviews, it was easier for me to step back. It's been a huge help for me to come in every other week or every few weeks now with just how things have been going on. And I always joked about the podcast. It's like more so for Chris. I mean, Chris puts in like 80% of the work, right? I'm not gonna beat around that. He's the heart and soul of the podcast. From the editing, understanding how the audio works, keeping up with posting on the channels. He does all that work, and he needs to be commended for it. I mean, he does amazing work. And I was just the talking head that would come in. And he used to say, well, you're the guy that can communicate with people. But, like, that was the first few years. Chris can do it all on his own now. I mean, we used to go to cons, and he'd be like, hey, can you talk to these guys? Because, I'm not the talking guy. And now he's the talking guy. He's the one-man show now. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to see how it's like, how far it's come.
It's funny thinking our conversation about comic creators being awkward and antisocial, and I was that guy for most of my life. No,
like he was like, hey, you're the talking guy. I'm just like the tech guy. So we'd be at cons and he'd be like, you got to go talk to them and I'll do the interview. But now, and there's a few years into it, I was like, he doesn't need me anymore. Like I mean, obviously I wanted to do the podcast with, but it was just so funny to be like, wow, he's got it all on his own now. Like
Travis, this is how like awkward I am in person. At least I used to be in person. I think I got better.
Are you gonna tell the t-shirt?
Yeah. So we're at. Was it another Connecticut Comic Con?
Yeah, it was one. I think the Mohegan Sun one.
Yeah. So
Terrificon, maybe, I don't know.
And I was wearing a Doctor Strange shirt or something. This girl comes up to me, this cute girl, and just says,
"You're in the middle of the aisles at like cons, right? So there's like there's like stuff to do on either side of the aisle, right?
And we didn't have media badges at this point. We were still like very small. We weren't doing a ton of interviews at that point, and she just comes up to me as I'm talking to somebody or looking through books or something. She's just like something along the lines of, "I like your shirt."
She's like, "Wow, I really like that."
And Mike could tell
Dr.
right away.
Shirt,
and I'm single, by the way, at this point in my life.
Yeah,
Mike could tell right away. And my response is, "Oh, thank you," and I walked away.
Yeah, and she like stopped you in the middle of the crowd kind of thing. And I was like, "Dude, she totally wanted to talk to you." And he was like, "What?" Oh man.
So yeah, when we went to cons, I would be like, Mike, you're the salesman. Like, I'll just be behind you going like, yeah. And as is evidence from a few weeks ago, like I was at a con, I was selling talking to people and getting things going. So,
but I mean, you're doing this years ago, but I mean, you changed so much, and I mean, the reason I'm stepping back, it's a huge stress relief. Not that I'm hating comics. You know, I love being able to talk to my friend Chris. It's been an amazing time, but I think, you know, it almost feels like a part-time job that, like, you know, we both have a pile of books building up, right? And like, to feel the pressure of like talking about books gets to you sometimes. And you can see there's a reading pile behind that fan behind me, and you know, there's 2 Travis Gibb books in there as well. There's one of your Cthulhu books, hardcovers, and I think I have the Christmas in July, one of those volumes is in there too. But anyways, shameless plug for you. But I think when you get to a point, you know, comics was such a big hobby for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's people always talk about when things change as you do them as a job, like, oh, you know, do something you love and you'll never work again kind of thing. And it's been an amazing experience talking with people, but just not having the crunch for time, you know, to get these interviews done and not having as much free time as I used to have back in the day. Things have changed for me, and
I think my love for the new, like and I don't mean this in a negative towards Mike, because it's definitely getting to talk to Mike every week is one of the highlights of my week, or at least it was for a while there. And it will continue to be when we text each other, and we'll still be friends after this, but
I guess we'll still be friends. I don't know.
But the news section I fell less in love with, because that was the bulk of my work, was setting, like reading all the news and setting up the show.
Yeah, all that work,
and the fun part was having a creator on and figuring out what they did and kind of getting an idea and interviewing them.
Yeah,
and talking
interviews were the best parts for sure.
So you could tell by the last almost year, there's way more interviews than there are me and Mike talking sections. And that comes from the fact that I wanted to do more long form interviews. Mike didn't want to do it because of all the things you just said.
Yeah.
And like, kind of at that, we weren't really clashing, but I think what we enjoyed about doing this was clashing.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, that's a good segue to talk about, you know, what are you going to be doing now that I'm now that I'm going to be, if I'm taking a step away, are you going to be continuing these?
First off, Mike, you're no longer on the show, so you can't be just asking questions like that. That is my job.
I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I went back to my hosting hat.
Right, this is
500. You were gone. You said you were done at 500. You're at 500. You were off the show. So, Chris.
Sorry. It's just like a muscle memory thing. I'm sorry.
With that, Travis and I are starting a manga reading club, so we're gonna
Chip Sadowski does it, and he got famous. And I assume it wasn't his talent. I assume it was that podcast.
Yeah, definitely. So, podcast.
I'm gonna start reading One Piece. And there's a Magic the Gathering one that I just learned about today.
Oh yeah,
it's good. It's
destroy
really good.
All humans. They can't be regenerated.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I'm very fascinated about this Magic the Gathering one, and I'm honestly thinking about giving it a try. But that's neither here nor there.
It's really good. It comes with a promo card, so that's worth the price of entry.
I think that and Kaiju number 8 are the two that would most appeal to you, because Kaiju number 8
so good.
Everybody sold it to me the wrong way, because the first like couple volumes is damage control with kaijus, but then it quickly becomes a Marvel superhero book where he gets, for not to spoil too much, but he basically gets bitten by a radioactive kaiju and gets the powers of a kaiju and becomes a superhero. But those are the two I would pitch to you.
And also, I would pitch Kaiju number 8 to you because it has a definitive ending. It's ending on like volume 16 or something. It's going to be the end. So.
Someone tried to pitch me one. Hold on. Maybe you guys can identify it. It's about this guy who gets angry, and it's got like a counter every issue. And he's like counting down till he gets angry and like kind of loses it.
Oh, no. I don't know about that one.
Someone tried to pitch it. They pitched it for a real long time, like hard sell. And like he had like 3 guys around him. And I was like, oh yeah, counter going down. Spawn. We have that at home.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
have.
I need
It's
to
been
buy
around.
it. And I shot this guy. Literally, he was 20 minutes into like hardcore pitching to me, and I just shut it down in a minute. I was like, "We have Spawn at home. We don't."
Yeah, we got spawns. They're still doing spawn stuff.
There's still a counter. Like it counts down to something. I don't know what it's for, but
I think manga, much like comics, has this thing where they have their, like, we have superheroes, and they have their, it's not superheroes, but you can tell what the mainstream manga is.
Right.
But then there's these great mangas that are, I mean, I hate differentiating them. It's all comics in my eyes.
Yeah.
But I think it's something like Vinland Saga, which is very much a retrospective look at masculinity and war and what violence does to a man. And like, it's an amazing story about fucking Vikings and Leif Erikson. But it tells these amazing, anyways. There was a question asked.
Yes, Chris. So before Mike rudely interrupted and asked you a question, and my dog barks at thunder because he's very upset about it.
That's all right. Poor puppy.
What are you doing next now that Mike has abandoned you to the wilderness? I know he said a whole bunch of things of why, but like basically he betrayed you and your friendship. So how do you feel like going forward?
That's short of it. For anybody that skipped that
without
part.
Mike, riding your coattails, because as Mike said, you don't need him anymore.
He doesn't need me, and
he's all grown up.
I'm a big boy now.
He's a big boy now.
I'm taking like a month off, and part of that is I need to build a bunch of stuff, and part of that is I want to miss it a little bit, because doing this for 11 years straight, like, it's hard to miss something you do all the time.
Right.
But just coming back with the interviews, that's gonna be kind of the beginning. So we're calling it Long Box Conversations, which I was amazed to find out it was not taken. I have the URL, the YouTube channel, everything.
Crazy.
And it's the idea of what we've been doing without Mike on this show. It's me and a creator sitting down talking, and that could be 45 minutes, that could be an hour and a half, whatever it is. And I also kind of want to get away from, and I hope people have seen this over the past year with the interviews I've done solo, just like what's on the Kickstarter, what's just going down, like,
tell us some pledge levels, right?
Yeah. Do some of that, but let's talk about some of your past career. Let's talk about your dog. Do you like what kind of music do you like? Like, let's get to know you a little bit. And I think that'll help a lot of creators, because I don't believe a lot of interview shows are talking about the person that's creating the comics as much as the comics itself.
Right.
And I've enjoyed kind of getting to know creators and learning that we have similarities that you don't know about. Finding out just after knowing Hedrick for how many years, I didn't even know he served. Just found it out a few weeks ago. Getting to get I forget Rob's last name, but finding out that he was one of the guys that was a pioneer at Newgrounds, and just a guy I've seen around forever.
That's crazy.
And I forgot that, like, I didn't know he was doing stuff at Newgrounds, and like, you're the same age. Like, we were definitely at Newgrounds watching inappropriate stuff.
That is a name I have not heard in a long time. Yeah.
Those are the kind of things I want to get into. So that there will be more added on to that over the years. But I think kind of the core is going to be the flagship is just talking to comic creators.
Yeah.
I have other ideas, like watch along stuff, but that all depends on who I can rope in. I mean, like, I know I can depend on Mike to come back to do the Absolute Batman cartoon series, watch along.
Oh, hell yeah. I would gladly do that, for sure.
And I know of other people I could contact to do it with me, but it's going to be more, we're not going to do everything, and it's going to be picky choosy, and when it lands in my life and all these kinds of things. But the core, every week, a creator talking on camera. That's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
So what about people who only give out issue ones? Are they in the short box conversations and Mike can handle all that? Where we at with that?
Not invited.
Yeah, so I want to keep the same ethos as Fortress, where I want to talk to everybody from the legend Derek to the guy doing his first book, like we did with Blake McCarthy.
Like we did with Stephanie Phillips back in the day.
Yeah.
with her hockey book.
Yeah, the women's hockey league comic book she did.
Yeah.
And everything in between.
Okay.
I think I'll be a little more choosy these days. Like I want to make sure I know these people can talk on air.
Yeah, I think you're allowed to do that now.
Well, and you can get better guests. I mean, you're 500 episodes in, you have a reputation. You can get, and not that other people aren't valid or whatever the case would be, but you can be a little bit more choosy because you can be like, hey, I could get this Kickstarter guy on their second book that the first one didn't do really well, or I could have Colin Bunn on, who people actually want to listen to. Like, it's not a slight at that guy who didn't do very well, but that guy needs to learn his own stuff to get to the point.
Yeah, and I need to learn to say no a little bit because I don't want to do 2 or 3 like I have been.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also like Mike said, as my personal career has grown, because anybody doesn't know, I don't make a living off this. Like, this isn't what I do to pay the bills.
Yeah.
My personal career has taken off. I have much more responsibility. I'm working a lot more than I used to. And there's days where I go without reading comics now. And that's just part of life. Like, a lot going on and a lot of change happening. Mike can attest to a lot of change happening recently. I'm kind of 2-3 years behind him in that realm,
but it's happening.
But it's there. So I don't have to worry as much about being on top of everything I'm reading. And where I am right now, because I got behind there for a while, and we've talked about it a lot in the past, but like, I've dealt with depression issues. I've dealt with all kinds of things throughout my life. And there's times where it's that meme from Parks and Rec where Chris Pratt is like looking at the window. He's just like, I forget the exact wording, but I hate everything. I can't sleep and I'm not hungry anymore. Like, you feel that every so often. Like, I think a lot of people with depression cling to that meme because I understand that 100%. Like, everything I love, I don't feel it anymore. And that happens at times when you get behind. And that happened to me middle of winter, and I'm still catching up with comics because of that. So not having, and I'm sure you've seen at the end of the show where I don't have as much to talk about. I'm still reading quite a bit right now. It's just I'm probably 2 or 3 months behind.
Yeah, that's and I think part of the problem is there's so many good comics.
And I buy too many comics. That's the other problem. So not kind of that my relationship with comics in that way, getting to change back to what I want it to be, which is I can catch up on things and I can read them as they come out and be able to text Mike and Travis and my other friends. Oh my God, Absolute Batman sure punched that guy in the face real well. Whatever happened again will be nice. No,
I think that's, and I will say, Travis, he's been reading a lot more DC books over the last few years than
it's really offensive to me. And Chip came on top to save him.
I'm really just jumping out now that I got him to read a bunch of DC, and now I can leave.
Listen, Chip's taking over Marvel, and it's Marvel's time again. So,
I mean, they gave me a free magic card for his Avengers, so I was pretty happy about
that came with the issue, right?
Yeah, you got a free magic card. And it caused a problem because that issue is not available anymore.
Dude,
they didn't do what they should have done, is like, hey, this particular cover has a magic card. The rest of them you can just get. It was in all of them. So it's sold out if you go to comic stores. It's the first part of an event.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and if you read the press release, it made it out to be, if you get this cover, because they put out the card itself is a cover. And they made it seem like that cover was going to be the one that gets the magic card.
Yeah, the press release read as that cover had that card, because I was looking into it.
Because I'm friends with our local retailer, and I saw the information he was given. Yeah. And he was given completely different information than what the public was given.
That's crazy.
Which does happen, but like not in this way.
Yeah,
and that was that everybody gets it. So
and it's been a problem. Like they have to now like do a second print to get it back on the shelves for the next issue. I think there's a delay because Magic people are hardcore. Like they.
So you're saying I should get mine on eBay? Immediately?
Did you not get your? No, I don't think it's worth that much. I think because there's again they printed a lot of them. I don't think it's worth a lot. But
Magic has been in a weird. I mean, I've recently, well, the last few years, been back into playing Magic, and it's in this interesting point where prices are going up. There you go. There's your Marvel Superheroes promo box. I love playing Magic, but the price of things has gotten way too crazy. It's insane, and there's a lot of crossover. I will say, comic wise, I've been collecting all the comic book art cards. I think those are amazing. And it's funny because some of the Magic players, the purists, don't give a shit about them. And so, I'll walk into the shop and be like, oh, how much are the comic cover, cards in the case? They're like, oh, they're like $1, $2. I'm like, okay, I'll take all of them. Like, these look amazing, so I want all of these. But,
that's the greatest thing. Like, I never thought I'd play Magic again. Not that this is a Magic podcast. I never thought I'd play Magic again.
It could be. No.
Spider-Man brought me in, and the fact that I have all the complete set except for one is wild to me, because I never thought I'd ever have a complete Magic
set.
But they just hated it so much. So I'm like, that's fine. I'll buy it. You're welcome.
Well, the same thing with Ninja Turtles. They've reprinted cards that cost $30 or $40, and because that it's a Ninja Turtles art, a Spider-Man art, a Marvel art, it's like a $10 card now, and that's a card I've always wanted for a deck, and it's like, well, I'll gladly pay $10 for Spider-Man art. I don't care. So it's an interesting spot to be in.
Well, that was another interesting thing that Mike said, to kind of go back to changing your relationship with things you love. Like, Mike getting to not have to focus as much on the show, and I just said how I'm doing it, so I'm just kind of, but like, one of the things that Mike really fell in love with over the years was D&D and writing campaigns and being a DM and playing Magic the Gathering. And I've seen over the past year since we made that decision, him diving back into those things and really being happier because of it too.
Yeah,
so,
no, you're right. Yeah, I've been playing a lot more Magic. I did another D&D campaign recently. It was awesome. So
I just have a feeling that in the near future, Mike's gonna be contacting me about a new D&D campaign that we're gonna be
like, hey, I got some free time. You want to do a D&D campaign? For sure. So, no, I would totally get back into that. Yeah. Oh man.
So I think that's a good place to wrap things up. We're changing life. The game, the Fortress Comics News is going away, but it's not going away. Like, Chris is still doing stuff. Mike sounds like he's going to appear from time to time. I will still appear. Hopefully, Chris and I will still do our yearly episode of talking about what's coming out, the San Diego Comic-Con stuff, or the end of the year reviews. But, things are going to change, and we'll be able to do some stuff. And I'm really excited about what's going on. And congratulations, 500 episodes. This is one of my favorite shows to go on. That's why I've come on so frequently, because you guys have a real love for comics. There's so many podcasts that I go on where they're promoting my stuff, which is great, but they don't love comics. They can't talk to me about what came out this week because they don't read it. They may love comics as like, idea, but not a weekly Wednesday warrior. And there's very few shows that are doing that. And a lot of them that don't want people like me, because they can get a low level Steve Orlando, or love you, Steve Orlando, but like, you're an easy get. Or they'll get some of these creators, and they don't have any need for me, because you can go low level Image and you never have it, but you can get. But you guys have always made space for the indie creator who's coming up, who's trying to find that publishing deal. We got excited together when we had a publishing deal. I remember you guys getting really excited when we should Scout, things like that, and building that, and that's what made Fortress of Comics News. It is hard to say.
I know, it's a terrible name.
Successful, and I want to thank both Mike, and Chris for doing that for the last 11 years. It's been wonderful, and it's sad it's coming to an end, but I think we have a bright future.
Yeah, and it still blows my mind when I talk to you and other creators that there's other shows like that, because I don't understand why you would get involved in this industry if you didn't have a love for it.
Right.
Because the sad news is there's not a ton of money in it.
No, there isn't.
But yeah, if my passion for comics ever went away, and hopefully it doesn't, I joke that we want kids to read it so Mike and I can be in the retirement home together reading comics still.
Yeah, the kids need to buy the comics.
But if ever did, I just don't see why I would keep doing this. I mean, there's been times, there's dips in your enjoyment and your love and wanting to do the work, but the passion always is there. So yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited to do more trade waiting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to do more trade waiting. I'm gonna be honest.
That's part of the reason people have heard me talk about Marvel Unlimited and DC Infinite. That's part of the reason I got those, is because I'm not going to buy as much anymore. You can see behind me, this is half of my collection. The other half is still being sorted, and more come in every week. So I'm running out of room.
I'm the same way. Like, I am super behind. I've never been more behind than I am right now. You know, I have caught up on the things I love, but like Free Planet, you know, that book, 13 episodes in. I know it's a complicated book to read. I'll probably love it, but I may not. But I'm 13 issues in, and I have read 0.
You know how long it took me to drop Saga? When we were talking every week how we weren't enjoying it anymore?
Yeah, we were talking about every week about dropping it. You're like, what am I going to do that? Yeah.
Yeah. And it took, I forget what issue Marcus dies in, but when he was dead officially, spoilers, Marco, I guess, for Saga, but Marco, yeah. When he dies, feel like after that, the book fell apart for me.
Oh, it went downhill, yeah.
And it was at least another 20 issues before I finally just said, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it was bad.
But
I don't even know if it's still coming out, to be honest.
It is, just sporadically.
It's on its hiatus that it does. You know, you get about 6 issues a year. It's just the way it works.
But I'll just say to anyone that made it this far, you enjoy the show and you're a fan, a listener. We're going to call you a listener. Don't get rid of this RSS feed. Don't leave this YouTube quite yet, because this is where I will let you know when the next thing is starting and where it's starting.
You'd almost say same Fortress time, same Fortress channel. Is that what you?
Yes.
Nice.
So when the new thing does happen and I finally get out there, right here's where you hear about it first. So you all will be the first to know what's going on, when it's going on. So
yeah, I can't wait for that podcast.
Well, what we do is we do end any show. Chris, can you tell people where they can find you at? What Kickstarter they should be back
at? So you now all understand why I changed my internet handle to @ChrisTheRunt. Because there's no more Fortress.
Yeah, I'll have to retire mine.
And my Substack is chriscomicscorner@substack.com. You can read all about what Kickstarter books I really think are worth backing from last month. You can read about why I disliked Superman Woman of Tomorrow and my feelings and why I'm probably wrong, but that's just how I feel about the book. And there will probably be something else there about Fortress here in the next coming weeks too. And then just stay here and look forward to what the next thing is. What's that?
You're talking about the Tom Taylor book? You're mad at the book, not just the movie?
Tom King?
I didn't like the book. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like the movie much more than the book, actually. We can talk about that another time if you want.
And for me, I'm at Fortress Ricker, but I'll probably be changing that, and I'm sure Chris will keep you informed on when I'll be appearing every so often. So
yeah, and through that new podcast and my Substack, you'll know what's going on with different things I try to do. You've probably watched me throughout the years. I like to try new things. If they don't work, we throw them away. So
yeah, true that.
So what Chris is saying is Chris, Mike, and myself will be back for our superhero RPG. We'll be doing that.
Totally. I'm totally down.
Mike sent a message after that. Are you serious, bro? Like,
are you serious? Did you really want to do that? I got my dice.
So I let Travis host and intro the show, but since it's the last one, I'm just going to say, everybody, thank you so much for watching and or listening this week. And I will see you all here in the near future.